You know what? I'm gonna say it. I'm sick of people recommending DUROCK V2s. No. Wait. Stay with me here. DUROCK V2s were great for their time, but let's be honest. TX Stabs and Staebies have really changed the game for stabilizers. We gotta figure out which one is the best and settle this for good. In the running, we have TX Stabs, Staebies, Stabbers, and DUROCK V2s. So put on your headphones, let's listen to these stabilizers drive. Personally, I think if you had to rock any of these dry, any of them would be fine with the exception of the DUROCK V2s. It's just not good. Because the other stabilizers are made out of a softer plastic and some of them have tighter housing, they weren't nearly as bad as the DUROCKs. But let's be honest, I don't think any of you guys are going to be running these stabilizers without lube. And if you don't lube your stabilizers, what are you doing? It's like the easiest thing to make your keyboard sound better. Whatever. Anyway, I took all these stabilizers and lubed them with 205 grade 0. No fancy mods, just a standard application. Here's how they sound. Now, real quick, I thought I would do a test that's a bit more realistic because chances are you're going to add more lube than just a standard application to tune them to perfection. So here's how that sounds. Now that you've heard them, let's talk about them. I'm gonna leave links to all of the stabilizers so you guys can pick them up, but particularly the Stabbers. If you guys decide to pre-order these, you can use my affiliate link and get a discount. DUROCK V2s. While I think that DUROCK V2s are an awesome baseline, I really don't feel like after trying all these different stabilizers today that these are the ones to buy if you have to go out and buy a new set of stabilizers. While it is possible to get the rattle out of DUROCKs, I found that over time the rattle has a tendency to just come back. The push feel is kind of inconsistent across the entire spacebar, which I think comes down to the housing not being very tight and also the wire not really being held very tightly in the outer housing. You really know what you're getting into with this stabilizer, just know that it's gonna take a lot of tuning and a lot of love. If you could find a good deal on them, then yeah. But to be honest, if you have a few extra dollars, I think the next three stabilizers are way better than DUROCK V2s. TX Stabs are weird because on one hand, they have like really loose tolerances in the housings, but on the other hand, it means that there's barely any friction, which means that they're really smooth. On top of that, they have a double shot stem, which is supposed to help eliminate rattle as much as possible. While you could definitely get by using these stock, I definitely recommend some 205 grade 0, and once you have them lubed, the other cool thing about the TX Stabs that I noticed is that they have a really tight grip on the wire. Those really loose tolerances don't matter as much because the wire's not going to be jiggling left and right. Jiggling left and right. That's how I decided to phrase that. Don't let the fact that these are clip-ins deter you because I think these are one of the best stabilizers on the market right now. Let's talk about the Staebies. And let's talk about the fact that Staebies kind of sounds like an STD, doesn't it? These things are special. I would say these have the tightest housing of any stabilizer on the market right now. And if maximum stability is what you want, these are it. But that comes with a drawback. Since the housings are so tight, it causes a lot of friction, and you're really gonna notice that in the stock sound test and even a little bit in the lube sound test. But if you can tune them and get them in a good place, these are like a god tier stabilizer. But they come at a cost. Factor in shipping and tax, and you're looking at a stabilizer that's gonna run you around $30. This definitely isn't for budget gang, and it's not without its flaws. I really didn't know what to expect with these, seeing as their housing's made out of HDPE, which is obviously a material that's never really been used in stabilizer housing before. You guys might have seen it in my review for the Doom Switch, but HDPE is a really soft plastic. And because of that, I think that the stock experience is honestly on the level of the Staebies and the TX stabs. While pressing down the stabilizer really slowly will reveal a little bit of scratch, I didn't feel it at all in normal use. Since they have a tolerance that is slightly less tight than the Staebies, that's gonna result in that same really awesome push feel that's super consistent and solid, but it's actually not as scratchy because there is less friction. In terms of rattle though, I think they required a little bit more lube than the TX and the Staebies to fully eliminate it. But once you get them tuned up, I think these are a really solid option. They're kind of a little mix between the TX stabs and the Staebies because they, to me, sound like TX stabs, but they feel very similar to Staebies. The other cool thing about the stabbers is that personally, at least to my ears, I felt like they were the thockiest. So if you're chasing thock, it's probably that HDPE material. Since they're already priced lower than the TX and Staebies, add a little discount in there and you know I got you guys. There's a lot of innovation in the stabilizer market. I think I'd personally recommend any of the three. I mean, it really depends on your budget and also what you thought of those sound tests earlier in the video. Because at the end of the day, the Staebies, TX, and Stabbers are great options. Stabilize, stabilize, stabilize. I read that one on Facebook. Cooper says, thanks for watching. Anyways, like, subscribe, don't be a stranger.